Do you know what's the biggest lesson, the most memorable lesson that I can still remember when I was in J1 that brought me to J2 and actually got me through the entire J2 year? So this one lesson actually came as a very surprising story that I would like to share with you on this account. So when I went from secondary school to JC, the transition was very steep, right? The learning curve was very steep and just nice, right? During that period when I went to JC, it was the start of COVID. So pretty much half of my J1 experience was at home, right? In my HBL, and I just attended Zoom meetings in class every single day. And most of the time, I just slept because it was Zoom, I was at home, and it was just so comfortable. Initially, because of that, I struggled a lot when I was in JC. I was lagging behind class, and I basically could not understand the content, but it was very hard for me to consult the teachers because everything was HBL and everything, right? So because of that, in the first few months of JC1, my grades tanked. I did really badly. I still passed, but it wasn't like an A standard, right? It was like a C, B kind of standard. And it was definitely not what I expected for myself. But then after that period of performing really, really badly, and then towards the end of the year, right, we actually went back to school after the COVID restrictions got lifted and everything. Then that is where I started to see more of my classmates and my teachers. And I knew that I was in deep trouble because I did not understand what was going on in class. For example, like a subject like math, everything is built up from the ground. If you learn things in sequences and series, APGP, these concepts can actually appear in the later chapters of your differentiation, integration, and occasionally even weird topics like vectors, right? It can also appear in that. So everything was built up from the ground up and my foundation was not very strong to begin with. So when I went back to JC in school, the first thing that I did was to restart my learning from chapter 1. And I told myself that it's okay to be behind my peers because I was really behind my peers. But what I needed to do was to just practice every single day. So I kid you not, every single day I sat down after school at my table from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., 1 hour just to do math. And of course, usually I extended past 1 hour every single day. But I made a commitment to myself that every single day I would sit down at my table after school, 3 to 4 p.m., no other distractions, every single day, 1 hour, 1 week, 7 hours of just doing math. And that was my dedication to myself. And by just slowly catching up day by day, right? Of course, usually it extends more than 1 hour, but just by slowly catching up day by day, by the time I hit my promos, I already revised the whole math syllabus and I was actually aware of what was going on. So to all J1s before going to J2 next year, your content is going to be a lot more heavy. Not only just for math, but for things like chemistry, it's going to be even worse. But the mindset that I would like to share with you is to just be consistent.